Well, good morning again, YouTube. I've got this another project. This is a 85 or 84 C4 Corvette. It used to be gold. I painted it green. It's set for, I don't know, 10 years. This window was open, that seat's gone. Somebody got up in here and stole the throttle port injection, and apparently it was hit. They replaced this front end here, and it's pretty good. It looks like it's straight, and I got some of the intake up there, but I'm gonna just pull this off of here. Then I'm going to put a carburetor and a manifold on it. Looks like they did a pretty good job of putting this front end on. It's got one of the green headlights. And I couldn't get power to it. I crawled under there, and dirty, nasty named guys, they just went up in there and cut all the wires for the starter. And that positive wire is like $150, and the negative is another 80 or something. They just stole the starter, you know. $250 worth of wires for an $80 starter. It's this door here, I got it open. It's kind of stuck right now. It just locked. This passenger seat's alright. I finally got the back of it open. It's got pretty decent wheels on it. They're good enough. But since it sat a long time, I know, and the fuel pump wasn't working. Anyway, you take off this panel. It's got 4 screws in it, or 6 or something. And you have this plate that your fuel pump and all that stuff sets in. I got the hoses off, and I checked this fuel pump here. It's drawing current, but it's not turning. So that's how you get to the fuel pump. I'll finish pulling that out and show you. And I broke 3 of these screws right here in this bottom corner, but surprisingly enough, it just flopping around in there. I can hear some kind of gas in it. Don't smell too bad, but I'll get another pump that out. I got the turn signals and lights working, except for the headlights. So what I'm going to do is just get this thing to where it'll start and run on a carburetor. The dash and all the most of the gauges and lights and stuff working there, that's all pretty good. I think the electrical is not bad, except for those missing wires that cut off the starter. I've got rubber for this. It's laying there. You got some more parts inside. There's the power window, and let's do this plastic thing. Anyway, what we're doing is taking out this fuel pump, and whoa, man, that's really rusty. The fuel gauge works. Anyway, let me get both hands and see if I can get this thing out of here. Well, it took a little playing around, but I got it. Around the top of this is rusted real bad. Give me a flashlight and look down in there. Well, I found my little light. Wow, it's got some pretty nasty stuff in it. A little bit of rust. You know, it's only got about an inch of gas in it. This light's not really good. The gas don't look too bad. There's some trash in it, but I can get that out of there. Wipe it with a rag and stuff. It ain't bad. And of course I snapped them bolts off of there. I might try to drill them out. These two at least are a straight shot. I can tape something up in there to keep chips out. It's not that big a deal at this point. This had a lot of water up the top. I think this was all condensation. This little resistor just about toast. Maybe not. It's made to be underwater. This is still working according to the gauge. And this pump got a sock. I ordered another one of these already. It shouldn't be that hard to replace that, and I'll just wire brush this and clean it up. Yeah, that'll be fine. And then I have to put a pressure regulator in it. Fuel pressure. You can see these two lines with the fitting there, gas lines. One's a pump and one's a return. And I have to take this manifold off, put a low rise. I saw some guys on another one. I did another one. I'll put a link up here to the description. And I split a Volkswagen bus, put I think 18 inches in it, and I mounted it on top of a C4. It was pretty good. Just the windshield was cut off, but it ran good, started good, everything. I got it all working. But this ought to be a pretty nice car. It needs to be painted. I probably won't do that. Or who knows, you know, I can't have it two colors. I may just scuff it up and go back to the original gold. You know, with nice gold paint on it. I shouldn't have any trouble selling it. Rather, you know, I can't really save that green. It'll be easier just to paint the whole thing if I do that. But so far so good. That fuel tank was hardening, so there wasn't a lot of horrible rust. You know, have to take that tank out. If I have to do that, that's the end of the project for me, I think. But this, no problem. I can clean this up, put a new sock and pump and everything, clean that all out of there and blow out the lines. And I've got a special regulator that it just hooks between those two there, and then you have a pressure port that's regulated, and you can turn it from 0 to 100 or something. And I'll just set it at 5 or so, 6 for the carburetor. And I'll probably have to do a little something with those because they're going to be in a way of that intake manifold, I think. But no big deal, I'll figure that out. I don't know if it's going to charge or anything. I think the headlight motors will work. You know, I'm just thinking. Anyway, Mr. Corvette, got a bunch of parts in the back. Seats are pretty trashed. Oh, you can see that. When I saw it, I saw all the mold and stuff, but actually just the cover is bad. You know, seat's not really messed up too bad, and interior's not too bad at all. So we'll get it cleaned up, and I think I've got a brand new set of seat covers I had for that Volkswagen for a C4, and I'll see, maybe it would be nice if I still have them. You know, it's worth taking the seat out and put a good cover on it. And I got all this junk and metal cleaned up. Got rid of that one transmission case, bunch of pipe, and all this other kind of stuff. I saved all the good metal that's stashed here, and got me a battery for this. Advance Auto was $70, but I gotta clear this thing up, or clean up this fuel pump, put another one in it, take a rag and wipe all the dirt out of there and bad gas, and I should be able to put that one back together. And now this is the final deal on the Jaguar. So it runs and drives good. Kind of want to keep it, but you know, I got my little hot rod here. Haven't even drove it. I'll get this old Ford truck here. I got the alternator fixed. Put an exhaust pipe on it yesterday. It's got a little missing. I gotta change the plugs and adjust the valve. $168. This thing is just not going to get hot idling. It's a good thing. Well, back here on the Corvette, I took this bottom half of the manifold off. It was kind of a trick. I had to take the smog pump out, which sits right in here, and got most everything off of here. It had a little bit of water in it, not much, and got just a little in the motor, but the motor looks really clean. I think the new manifold will go on here just fine. I'm going to go ahead and probably start cutting some of this smog stuff off. I'm going to leave the mounts and the pump and all that on here. This belt was split right there where it was on that idler, but the idler turns. I hope I got I ordered another belt for it. They were like 50 or 60 bucks, but I found one for 15. It's supposed to fit it, so anyway, we got Mr. Manifold tore off. I can clean this up, figure out what's going on with it. It should be good to go. Got a rag here to pick up some of that water. I'm just going to set that manifold back on it for right now, kind of keep the dirt out. I just stuck it back on there. Got quite a mess of tools out here to get it done. Pulled my distributor out. That's going to have to be replaced. That's ran by the computer. So my new one, I'll just have probably 2 wires on it. One for, I don't know how many it's going to have on it, but I'm not really worried about it too much. I just don't want the computer to be adjusting the timing. I'll have that set in with mechanical in advance, mechanical and vacuum advance. Looks like most of the hoses and stuff will be all right. So I need a manifold, and waiting for my distributor. And I'll press on this, and I've got the fuel unit out. I got it pretty much cleaned up. I didn't have a screen for the filter, but I ordered another little filter screen. So in a few days I'll get these parts, and we'll continue taking this apart. The main thing that's stopping me right now though is the manifold, and I'll have to do something about these oil gauges. There's a switch in the dash that switches it between oil pressure or oil temperature and water temperature, and so I'll have to hook up most of these, and I'll take all this stuff off here and label it. I think I'll take all this air conditioner stuff off of here too while I'm at it. Do a little stripping. I didn't really work on this too much today. It was cold, but I did get a lot done. Alright, I started working here on the Corvette. I cut this smog injection stuff all off of here, and I broke off the pipes. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to just JB weld a plug in there. These are probably kind of small, but they have a pretty good head on them, so I think I'll put a punch in there and punch them a little flatter. If I had it over there close, I'd just weld them, but I don't. I don't know how well JB weld is gonna hold that close to the head. I don't know, I may try to do something else there, turn a little piece of steel or something on the lathe, pound it down in there. We'll see. Well, these little things didn't work, but I found a piece of 1/4-inch brass rod, and I was able to put a little point on them, and I drove those in. A couple of them went in real good. This one didn't want to go, so it would I just couldn't drive it in and get it tight, so I JB welded it, and then I just went ahead and JB welded all 4 of these. These 3 here in the front drove in pretty good, and that back one is a little crooked, but it's in pretty tight, and I got JB weld on it. So I've got my exhaust stuff done. Or at least I hope so. Those plugs might eventually come out. I don't know. But the ones that I drove in, they won't come out at all. Might have a couple of them come loose, but I don't think so. I think that's going to work out just fine. So there's the end of one cycle, plugging up all my exhaust leaks. I got to do something about this bottom exhaust injector. I'll probably see if I can break that loose with a wrench and JB weld a bolt or something into it. It'll be fine. It shouldn't get very hot. So just pressing on with trying to get this thing modified. Well, I'm back here on the Vette. I had I thought that the whoever stole the starter cut off some wires. Well, they did, but one of them I thought was the negative because it was black. Turned out it wasn't a negative. It was a Corvette black wire, and I couldn't really get to the mounts here, but I was able to pull this wire out, and I got about 2 foot on it here. So I'm gonna route it back down and through here and try to get it away from the exhaust manifolds and everything. I got enough wire there. I'm pretty sure I can do that without getting into anything. So that's what we're going to do, is try to route this big wire I got here. This was a ground cable. I checked it and it'll fit the starter lug. It's a little smaller than the original cable, but I got it in there and soldered it real good, heat shrunk it. I think it's gonna work. That's an awfully long wire for a battery positive cable, but I think we'll be all right. See what I can do about getting it routed down in there. Well, I finally got the starter in, and I've got my solenoid wire here. cranking over good. I oiled up these lifters. I see some rust down in there. The valve wasn't closing. It popped back through the intake there. But I think I got enough WD-40 on it to clean it up. But motor's turning over good. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't start. It might pop and miss and do all kinds of stuff, but it's turning over. All the valves are opening and closing, so I think we'll be good here. I tried it with a key, and it just clicks and the security light comes on, so I know there's some kind of a bypass in there for the security system. I'll get around that. I still don't know if my light motors or anything work, but my dome lights, or door lights anyway, are on, and this door is closed good. So I'm going to try to get this door open over there on the passenger side. The key works, and the outside lock here works, but it's moving up and down, but it's not pulling anything, so I probably got a little bar or something off of there. I'll get back in there and get this door open and see if I can get that fixed. And my fuses are over here, so I'll pull the fuse out of the dome lights and get that disconnected.